everything you thought about moving on was wrong, and actually the way to move on will help to keep your loved one closer than ever. In this video, we're going to unpack what are the strange things that people experience during grief that no one talks about? What does moving on actually look like, practically speaking? And how can we balance remembering our loved one and weaving them into our life moving forward? Hey, I'm Kelly Nielsen, and after recovering my own tremendous grief, I developed a neuroscience faith-based program to help people recover, and hundreds of people have been experiencing it. So let's dive into today's topic. So what happens emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally when you go through grief? What are the things that nobody's talking about? First of all, let's talk about spiritually. Spiritually speaking, grief is a time of reckoning. Grief is a time that exposes your existent or non-existent relationship with God. So many people grapple with their faith in the midst of grief and loss. For a lot of people, they can feel let down or betrayed or bamboozled by God. I know in my own case, when I lost my mom to suicide, I literally felt like, at first I thought that my faith was just a cruel joke. I thought that the whole thing was a lie. And I had to grapple with that. Thankfully, in my story, God met me in that very dark place, and he helped walk me through a path of healing and recovery. But for so many people, their faith can be a place of comfort and strength, but it can definitely be a time of questioning faith. And what do you do if maybe you go to church and you're surrounded by people who are singing praises to this amazing, faultless God who never fails you, but you feel failed? You feel like God let you down. So often people struggle with these feelings all by themselves, and they don't have a safe place to process that through, to talk about how they're actually feeling, their anger at God, their confusion, their frustration. That's the real of what it looks like to walk through grief. Let's talk a little bit about what happens to you physically. Man, oh man, nobody told me about the physical effects that you experience when you're grieving. I kind of relate it to pregnancy. And I remember when I was pregnant, just about any symptom I could ever experience, they chalked it up to pregnancy. I'm convinced that my right arm could have fallen off, and they said it was a side effect of pregnancy. Grief and grieving is kind of the same way. It affects you holistically. So every part of your physical person is affected by grief. The insomnia, the fatigue, the loss of appetite, the loss of memory, all of these things are things that you will most likely may have encountered if you're grieving. So much so that's why I titled my book, You're Not Crazy, You're Grieving, because you can feel like you're going crazy. That was one of the things that was most surprising to me, is that I never realized the physicality of grief, the toll that it takes on you. And I feel like nobody talks about that, or at least had not prepared me for how physically draining grief and grieving is. And you can feel like you're losing your mind a little bit, from upset stomach to some people experience heart palpitations. They literally have a physical pain in their chest. It feels like they're having a heart attack from grief and grieving. These are all, unfortunately, very common symptoms. And even though nobody might be talking about it in your circle, please just know that it's common for people to experience those things when they're going through grief. Now let's talk about emotionally. Holy buckets, the toll that grief takes on your emotions, you feel like you're wrung out. I remember laying in bed after my mom died and feeling like I was going to literally just sink into the bed. I felt a heaviness that I had never experienced before. And for a lot of us, this is the hardest, biggest, most difficult thing that we've ever faced, and we don't know what to do with it. It can feel also like you're the only one living in this twilight zone, right? Like everyone else around you is going through the motions of life. They're living, they're carrying on, and you feel stuck and frozen. Like you're just standing still. That time for you is standing still, but everyone else is moving on. That can be very disheartening, very disorienting, and very confusing when you're standing in that place. And you may feel forced to just put one foot in front of the other and figure out some way to survive each and every day. But inside, you are feeling disconnected to those around you. There's so many emotional implications of grief and grieving. So if these are some of the things that you're feeling and maybe nobody's talking to you about it, how do we, if we're affected on such a deep level, what does it even mean to look like to move on? Practically speaking, how can we move on when we're so deeply affected and deeply impacted? Well, the biggest piece to moving on is that moving on doesn't mean forgetting or leaving your loved one behind. I know so many people who get stuck in grief out of fear of moving on because they're afraid that it means that they're going to leave their loved one behind. And that is simply not true. The key to moving on successfully is integrating your loved one, not separating your loved one. You want to make sure that each and every day you're living in a way that honors and celebrates your loved one. Like I said, what might that look like, practically speaking? One of the first things to do is pay attention to where your focus goes. Again, grief is so overwhelming that we tend to relive the loss over and over, or we tend to focus on the past and wish and hope that our loved one would still be here. We focus on their absence instead of focusing on their presence. It's so important when you're going through the process of grief recovery that you begin ever so slightly to find pockets of happiness, find pockets of joy, and to focus on those and be thankful for those. Even if you only have a 3-minute pocket of joy in a given day, pay attention to that and be thankful for that. Because what we focus on grows. That's why grief can tend to be so debilitating for so long, because we continually focus on the absence of our loved one. And that creates neurological loops and pathways in our brain. So we just keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it. So one of the biggest keys to disrupting that is to change where our focus is. Again, that does not mean we forget our loved one. That does not mean we don't miss our loved one. It's that we train our brain to begin to see the joy in life that still exists. We begin to give ourselves permission to experience joy and laughter, and we savor in those moments. Moving on as well does not mean saying goodbye. It doesn't mean that our loved one just stays in this previous part of our life and we don't bring them with us. Meditating on the fact that they are still with us in our thoughts, in our memories, in their influence on our life. And when we look for creative ways to include them in our life going forward, that's a very real and practical way to move on, move forward in our life and include them with us. This may come to like an actual daily ritual you have. It may be wrapped around traditions. There's a bunch of ways that you can incorporate your loved one into your daily routine to help them be a part of your present and future life. And if you want help unpacking this a bit more, check the link in the description for more details about that. Last question we have is, so you're deeply impacted by grief. You recognize that you want to move on, and we've talked about what that practically looks like, but how do you do that? How do you make sure that you move forward without forgetting or leaving your loved one behind? What are some things that you can do that can honor their life and integrate them into your future? As we said, the key is inclusion, right? It's incorporating them into your life, not separating them. There's not a before and after. There's just a continuation of your love story with them, whatever that might look like. So is it a daily ritual? Do you have a dedicated journal where you can share with them things that are going on in your life? Do you take trips or plan things around their birthday or other important holidays? But most importantly, what is the intention in your heart and what is the focus of your mind? When you think about who this person was to you, all that they added to your life, all the value that they added to your life, all the lessons that they taught you, when you think about and reflect on how loving them changed you as a person and how losing them changed you as a person, you want to take all of that and make some real intentional steps forward that includes that and that honors that. I know for me, I am so different. I am nothing like the person that I was before losing my mom and losing my son. And for me, every day when I show up and when I share and when I express this person that I am now, that is a way to honor them, because loving them and losing them has caused me to become the person that I am today. And there's no higher honor or tribute that I can pay them than living a full life that serves others, right? Every time I show up as this version of me, my mom is honored, my son is honored. And I know this may sound a little bit nebulous and out there, but it's really important to not overstep that step in the process, right? Taking time to synthesize and really think about and reflect on, who were these people to you? How has them being in your life changed you and affected you? And same with losing them. How has losing them changed you? And how can you use that to move forward in a way that honors them? When you do that, friend, you will find the weight lifting. You will find momentum and energy and passion for your life again. The more that you can love and serve other people connected to the loss, the more that their legacy lives on. And that is very possible for each and every one of us. If you're watching this video, and I know that grief is hard and heavy and it can feel overwhelming, like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, I'm here to tell you that there is, and it starts with our intentionality. Actually, even before intentionality, it starts with our belief. Do you believe you can move on? Do you believe it's wrong to move on? Are you afraid that if you move on, you're going to be leaving your loved one behind? I'm hoping that you found some keys in this video to let you know that that's not true. That you can move on and live a life that is meaningful and honors your loved one, but that you also enjoy and look forward to living. The rest of your life doesn't need to be a sentence. It can be something, a celebration of you and your loved one. I hope that you have found this video helpful. Stay tuned for the next video.